Hi, my name is Marietta Mehanni, and this week I'd like to talk about the crisscross jack. Now, it's a great move, and if you're using the wall, then you don't have to think about what the arms are doing, and you can just focus on the legs. Now, I'm going to give you a whole bunch of different ones that you can do that focus on either the adductors or the abductors a little bit more. So let's start off with the low crisscross jack. So hands on the wall, cross out, cross out, cross out. So when you do this at tempo or land speed, this is a really good, just general lower body workout for the adductors and the abductors, because yes, the adductors, the ones on the inner thigh, are going to get a much better workout, but if you go into tempo, you'll also feel it on the outside. Fabulous. Now, what we can do is add power. Now, if we add power and start with our feet wide apart and cross as we go up, this becomes way more about the inner thigh muscles than the outer thigh. So cross, cross, cross. This is an inner thigh workout, my friends. Okay, then you can start with your legs crossed over, and then you jump and land with your feet crossed over. You ready? Here we go. Out, cross, out, cross, out, cross. Whew. Here we go, baby. Now, this works both your inner and outer thigh. It's actually quite a challenging exercise to do. So you're starting with your feet crossed over, and then you're opening the legs out and landing with your legs crossed. Now there's another variation where you start with your feet wide and you combine those two. So you start here and you go cross, cross, open, cross, cross, open, cross, cross, open, cross, cross, open. That's option one. Option two is you now go from this wide position, crisscross, and land wide again. And it looks a little bit like a ballerina move. Here we go. And you'll get people doing that little movement in their torso. So you jump up, you cross twice, you land with your feet wide apart. Let me do this facing the camera so you can actually see the differences. So we've got the crossover, just regular crossover, and then you've got the option with your feet wide and cross as you jump up. Then you've got the option where your legs are crossed and you jump and you land with your feet crossed, or you start with your feet wide and you cross, cross, out, cross, cross, out, or you go up, cross. It's really hard to do side on. Up, cross twice. It's actually impossible to do side on. This is the only way, because you do need both hands on the wall to assist you with lifting up. Anyway, 4 different versions that effectively work your inner and outer thighs, and that is this week's Aqua Tip. This particular exercise is where the frame becomes really handy, but you can also use the back of a chair. Now, one of the advantages of doing this type of movement at the wall is that you can get that inner and outer thigh activation, which you can't actually do with just regular jumping jacks. It's just not the same. I think it's also because you cross the legs over, but because you've got your hands on the wall, the emphasis is on what you're doing with your legs. So using the frame, the world is so much easier to demonstrate this because it becomes your wall. And because it's see-through, you can face the class this way and you can demonstrate the crisscross jacks. You can demonstrate the up and cross, which you'll just need to hold yourself up momentarily up as you do it. You can start with your legs crossed, push the legs out, and then of course the final one, which is the 1, 2 out, which is the low impact version, to the more powerful version. This is where you'll have to hold yourself up for a bit longer on the frame and go up 1 and 2 out, 1 and 2 out. Now, you could also use the frame this way if you're, okay, I can't really hold my body weight up much, and you just position your hips onto the back of the frame, and from here you can demonstrate the leg actions without any body weight coming forwards. The 1, 2, out, 1, 2, out is a lot easier with being able to prop yourself onto the back of the frame, right? If you are going to use a chair, I suggest that you use the back of the chair as being your frame. Now, this does mean that I think the best way to demonstrate this is with your back to the class so they can see what your legs are doing clearly. Now, if you've got people strung up along the wall, even with using the frame, you're going to have to demonstrate the same exercise in different positions, even though you might not be moving up and down the pool, so that everyone can see exactly what you're doing. So it's not one demo and that's it, unless you have a small class and they're all directly in front of you. When you do wall exercises, it actually takes up a lot of space along the wall. So hands onto the back of the chair, and this is how you demonstrate the movement. So I'll show you side on. So I've got my weight forwards, and then you're demonstrating the movements, the up and out, or the starting with the cross legs, open out and cross. The one with the double crisscross, that's a little harder. So you're going to go up 1 and 2, up 1 and 2. So that's a lot harder, depending on how powerful your legs are. And that's maybe where you'll need to resort down to here, holding on to the back of the chair so you can show the double crisscross action. Do indicate to your clients that where you want them to feel it, inner thigh and outer thigh, because then they'll understand the emphasis that they need to put with their legs in the water. Tempo is important here. If they do it slowly, they won't get that inner and outer thigh activation. So do have music that's, you know, lively. You can even go classical because it has that sort of ballerina effect. And do you put all of them together? Maybe not. You might want to mix them up with some other moves and then come back to that crisscross action. But the wall is actually an interesting place to do exercises at because it eliminates the requirement of the arms, and it really emphasizes the lower body action. And of course you can use that wall to assist you with lifting yourself up for some of the movement patterns. Now I'm going to tell you something. I'm not a big fan of the wall push-up. I know people are going to pop off in the comments section with all the reasons why they do it. This is not a conversation I want to argue the merits of for and against. But the pools that I work at, placing your hands on the pool concourse and lifting yourself up and down out of the water isn't ideal. And also I don't love this, which is what a lot of my older clients tend to do, is they're sort of like doing it in this position regardless of what I tell them about their posture. Certainly if you've got a stronger group that come to your classes that can maintain good alignment, then, you know, I don't really see an issue with it. I definitely see benefits in being able to get people to be able to work their bodies up against gravity. But if I'm seeing the majority of my class really struggling with good technique with this, I'm weighing up risk versus reward. You know, what's the potential that a lot more people are going to have challenges with this, and it could end up with, oh, I hurt my shoulder or whatever in the class, which I've heard before, to how many people will actually improve their strength. So that's what I'm measuring. My clientele are not the clientele that I really want to do that with. I can do other things with them that's going to strengthen their bodies. And that's just on just doing the push-ups, not using the wall to assist you with lifting up. That's a little different because I'm not asking them to try and hold their body weight up above the pool water. So I just wanted to throw that in because there's always someone who asks me that question. Anyway, that is this week's Aqua Tip.